minutes I spent in chat have produced the necessary motivation. Seems like people are ecstatic at the prospect of watching me lose 5-0. So I know what the crowd wants, and I will be aiming to please, obviously. Let me just get the go-ahead from the admins, and we'll hopefully start playing. Not going to be doing anything else until I get the green light from the powers that be. And yeah, as I said, hang on a second. This is great fun. This is going swimmingly, obviously, because seemingly I'm still not streaming, which is bizarre. Yeah, I'm really unsure what's going on here, and bear with us, folks. I understand this is a bit frustrating. It's also very frustrating for us, but not sure what can be done about it until the tech people work all of this out. On the off chance somebody can actually see me, hello again, and let's hope some chess will eventually commence. Seems like I am streaming to something. I briefly did something you're not supposed to do and opened the stream, and yeah. Okay, seems like we did get the go ahead. So let's see if that works. I sent the challenge. Now it remains to be seen if Grandmaster Maxi Bogues actually accepts it, and there we go. Starting with black as well, so if you consider the fact that most people expect this to go 5-0, starting with black is not the best way to go. And the trump is, I think, an early indication that I'm not going to be getting very many theoretical discussions today. Which is fair. I wasn't really expecting that anyway. This setup is sort of playable for black, but not really all that great. I tend to do this when kind of somewhat surprised by the trump, and then I tend to feel quite sad about my position. But once again, if this is the tradition on these shows, if we can call them shows, why deviate from it just because I'm playing the world champion? The black position here is, I mean, it's kind of solid, but passive and not very pleasant. I was planning to go knight e4 here. I'm trying to figure out if I can. There's also c5 as an option, but c5 is very risky. I can also just go bishop d7 and pretend nothing bad is happening. Let's start with that. And if he goes queen a4, I will go knight e4 then. That should be the general plan, yeah. I like the idea of putting the queen on a5, because I thought queen a4 was very logical for him on the previous move. And if I can stop it, I should probably be stopping it. I guess something along the lines of BC, BC, Queen B3 is very playable for him. What he is doing, of course, is also perfectly natural. But I do create a threat of Knight D2 here, and I could also maybe consider going CB5, CB5, Rook A C8 next move, because the Knight on E4 is quite nice for me. I thought I was going to be sort of a lot worse off here than I am. Much depends on whether he can actually play b takes c6 here, because I think cb5 next move will be quite interesting for me if I'm allowed to make that move. But bc6, it probably is an actual exchange sacrifice, which I think is playable, but it's very, very risky for him. Because we are playing, I mean, it's obviously an endgame. Yeah, this is the line I was trying to calculate. He should go, he can take on e4, yeah, I missed that. That's kind of relevant, putting it mildly. Yeah, I missed bishop takes e4, that's a very, very relevant idea here. Yeah, now knight c3, knight f4, knight d5, I'm in a large amount of trouble here, despite a nice looking bishop on f3. It's still not a great position to have. Yeah, I would like to go rook c6, rook fc, rook ec8 obviously, but well, maybe I can do this. At least try to sharpen the position up a little bit. If he goes rook a4, it's at least an achievement, because it's kind of a stupid square for the rook. Maybe not that stupid though, because the b6 pawn is very, very weak. Yeah, I have some tactical resources there. Like if he takes on b6, I have bishop takes d4 there in the end. I'm not expecting him to miss it though. The idea of the move king f8 obviously is to not blunder knight e7 check next move. Yeah, I thought I have something here. Whoa, okay. Yeah, that's not blundering knight e7 check led to king h8 was obviously our, I guess no, I needed to control the e7 square. Yeah, there was a point to what I was doing, but the point was faulty. Okay. Not sure what I think about 3g6 these days. If anything, frankly. And now we're back to sort of normal, what's the word? Enhanced stainage. I'm not sure if it's enhanced actually. One way to go about things here is to take on e5, but yeah, this used to be a somewhat central line of this variation, but I suspect Magnus knows more about this position these days than I ever did, and yeah, not sure this is all that great. It definitely was sort of mainline theory of this line at some point. But my knowledge, if you can call it that, about that line is very, very outdated. The point obviously is that I want to play f7, f4, f5, in particular if he goes something like knight e7. And if he takes on a4 and goes queen d7, I think I can even maybe take on d7 and take on e5. And the fact that the pawn on f7 is hanging gives me decent play in that endgame. I think. I'm not sure though. I could also go bishop f4, but I wanted to play something faster. And pretend I have some initiative here. But I honestly, now that I look at this position, I probably have absolutely, like, why is it me that has initiative here and not him is the very, very big question. I mean, I can go knight d4 check, but I'm not sure what that does. I can take on e5, but then I think he is very, very safe there. It's probably still the best option I have. Trying to prevent him from going knight f6 here by transferring the bishop over to g3. But yeah, this is obviously perfectly fine for black. Maybe even black is ever so slightly better, I don't know. I guess bishop f4 instead of knight d2 on move whatever it was, 14, was much more critical. I'm kind of disliking that choice quite significantly now. And this is, as usual, this is not the type of position you want to have against Magnus in general, because he will be enjoying himself here. Probably king e3 was slightly stronger as well. I'm slightly surprised with at this choice, but maybe it's good enough. I thought he could have done this in a different fashion. But I mean, even this position is actually quite unpleasant for me. Probably. Yeah, h3, h5, and then he goes rook g8 and g4 check. So I feel like I already need to do something quite drastic to stop that. This might not be so horrible, but we're obviously kind of in a very tough fight for a draw here. The one thing I was kind of planning on when preparing mentally for this match was I told myself I should always be sort of in control of what's happening on the clock, and that's the one good thing that I have going for me here. I'm not very far behind on the clock. If he goes rook f8, I think rook e4 check might be clever. Or at least... Yeah, that's clever from him. I did miss that move. Yeah, this is going to be quite bad, I guess. Because king g5 here, I cannot play rook f8 or any of the moves I would like to play. I need to play something like... Okay, now my machine died. This is going so great. Whoops, actually it wasn't my machine, it was just the side hanging. how bad is this? Hang on a second. Yeah, fairly bad. But I have rook c5 check there in the end, which gives me some hope. Yeah, that was a very large blunder, that last move. Yep. This one is not going to work out either. Guess I should have played bishop f4 there, but okay. Magnus playing with his food, which is a kind of a time-honored tradition as well, obviously, but I think he kind of bailed on that idea by this point. And a3 these days is played in all kinds of Sicilians, so you haven't actually given up that much by doing this, which is kind of bizarre because you really are supposed to be giving up quite a bit, but you haven't. If he goes c4 here, we actually transpose to something very, very mainline-ish. Knight c3, a6 is also sort of very normal. I mean, you generally don't play a3 here, but a3 is by no means a bad move for white, so not much has been lost. This is maybe the one position where I should be happy the pawn is on a3, because white's play very often is connected with playing a3, a4 as early as possible, and that would be you know, the one situation where I am a very, very explicable full tempo up compared to what normal theory looks like. Yeah, this plan is always so annoying. I should have actually, like, bishop b7 was a bit of an autopilot decision, which I should have thought about for slightly longer. This is such an annoying plan in all kinds of Sicilians these days, this queen f3, queen g3 stuff. And I could have played something else to have bishop d6 as a reply. That was kind of oblivious on my part. Yeah, now the knight just goes b1, d2, d2, c4, and these endgames are quite unpleasant. I mean, they're not completely unplayable, but they are quite obviously very, very unpleasant for black. I'm wondering if I should play h5 and g6 just to gain some space on the queen on the king side, but feels risky and unnecessary. Actually, this allows rook h5. As usual, in particular today, you recognize what the threat is the moment you kind of release the piece you were planning to move, and because of rook h5, maybe putting the pawn on h5 actually made a decent amount of sense, but too late now. And I guess I will have to play e5 and f6 and reply, which is really, really ugly. This probably is played with the intention of playing knight b6 next move, which I should pay attention to. I still want to play bishop c6, bishop b5 if I can. If this loses somehow by force, I will be upset, but I didn't think it did when I went for this position, so let's see what Magnus has in store here. I thought this was actually kind of semi-playable. Ready to be proven wrong, but I did not see, at least originally, how this loses. I mean, he has all kinds of like rook a7 shenanigans and things, but I mean, this pawn is, it will require defending. He might have a draw, but I mean, considering where I was, I am not unhappy about that outcome. Considering just how horrible my position was earlier, it would be very weird for me to suddenly be unhappy about a draw. Okay, so not a clean sweep, which is, I'm sure, a huge shock to everybody watching. Let's try this again. I understand Magnus is playing all kinds of openings every game, and I'm repeating my stuff, but okay, yeah, I mean, we can just delegate, right? There's absolutely no requirement for me to try weird stuff because Magnus will be doing it on his own. That's not weird. That's sort of nowhere near weird enough. I feel upset. Yeah, I've seen people do this, and it looks exceedingly weird, but I also understand that this is exactly what his World Championship match was about, so it can't be as weird as all that. I'm debating going knight d2, knight f1 immediately, but it feels kind of slow. Then again, like I should stick to things which somehow appeal to me for whatever reason. The big question here, of course, is whether I should play 4 immediately or continue with my extremely slow knight maneuver, but... And here, yeah, this is the point, because I was planning to go knight g4 here, and I now realize it's a completely empty gesture. Because he has king h7. I thought h5, knight h6 check was very clever, but obviously nobody in their right mind will ever play knight h5 here. So yeah, this sort of backfired, I guess. And we should be preparing to meet f5 with f4. Otherwise we will be in lots of trouble. Could still be in decent amounts of trouble here, obviously, but that way I think it's possible to kind of limit the amount of damage. And the inclusion of a3 is probably a wasted tempo more than anything else, but felt kind of important to have the squares for the bishop to retreat along that diagonal. I was considering going before straight away, but did not feel right as an immediate option. But is b5 a threat? Let's proceed under the assumption that it isn't. I mean, that's not what I'm doing. I'm actually proceeding under the assumption that it is, but yeah, I thought this position was quite playable for me. Maybe I'm wrong, but it felt to me like this might be quite decent for me if the tactics work out, which I understand is a very, very large if. And I'm actually getting mated there. I wanted to go knight d5, knight e5, queen e2, but I have a feeling knight f3 check just wins in that position, which would be a bit of a blow. I don't think I have much of a choice, though. I think I have to go for it and hope that maybe king h1 doesn't lose. Because I'm definitely, I cannot take because queen e4, queen h3 should be made. But I do have king h1. And yeah, and Magnus demonstrating that all those tactics are kind of irrelevant when you can just pick up simpler material. Yeah, that was a bit of a miscalculation, to put it mildly. And this is now sort of resignable, which is very, very regrettable. Because that endgame I'm just not going to hold, and I'm kind of trying and failing to find something which is not an endgame here. But there is really nothing else. Yeah, so I was basically kind of let down by the fact that I spotted knight f3 check, and I thought that was the biggest problem in the position. And was not fast enough to kind of rewire my head towards, you know, the actual problems the position contains. Bishop d4 is, I think, the safest way to convert here. I probably should have traded a pair of rooks when I could. Because now after bishop d4, rook d1, rook fd8, there is no comfortable way for me to do that. You could also just go rook fd8 immediately, obviously. Not quite sure what this is. I mean, he's stopping a5, but he's giving me well, time to do some things. I'm not sure what those things are, but like I do get some time to quote-unquote consolidate. I mean, if he has to go bishop a5, maybe I have some hope. Maybe not. I mean, it's a weird square for the bishop, but... Also, I'm not sure why I'm forcing him to play a6. a6 is not a bad move here. I'm sort of creating a threat of c4, bishop takes c5, arguably. But not really. And yeah, this probably should not have been allowed. I assume. But, like, if we're honest with ourselves, this game has been effectively over for a while. Okay, now it just is over because I can't stop a6, I think. Yep. But yeah, that game was over when I missed knight takes c4. The match situation obliges me to play sharply for a win. Haha. This line is extremely ugly looking, but not actually unplayable as far as I know. It has some definite merit. Unless you just lose by force. I think you're kind of supposed to go maybe... No. I thought you were supposed to go g4 in this position, but maybe I'm hallucinating. It's very possible I'm hallucinating because this entire match up to now was basically just me having one horrible mental episode after the other. After another. Even my English is abandoning me. The big question is if I can take on e4 next move, after he does something like, I assume queen c2, although other moves also come to mind, like he can probably play knight f3 here. Although I definitely can take on e4 after knight f3. But the big question is if I can take on e4 after queen c2. Because he probably still goes bishop d3. Okay. This will have to be demonstrated to me. Yeah, this is a kind of the same position I was referring to earlier. Sort of. And yeah, I mean, I can get mated gloriously here by... I mean, I want a castle, but I have a feeling the exchange will be sacrificed to me and then I will get somehow mated, but I think I'm supposed to. I think if I don't do this, I get into more trouble, and at least this way, because the rook... Yeah, I thought I can take on c3 here. I guess he goes a4. I guess this is what I missed. I thought I can take on c3 and there is no bishop b2 in the end there, picking up the rook on h8, but I guess he just goes a2, a4 in the end of that variation. And the knight gets picked up anyway. Okay, that's disappointing. Knight a6, bishop b2, knight b4, king d2. I mean, I can put the knight on a2, but I will lose. Yeah. And I mean, if I cannot take on c3 in this position, I should not have castled. I should have played something like d6, which would have given me more options in this position. Yeah, missing a4 is a kind of a very costly mistake here. I can go for a position with like tons and tons of pawns for the piece, maybe? The position is probably very, very bad, but I mean, if I go knight f6, I have a feeling I just get mated. I think I absolutely have to go for this. And after a4, I will have to go for some very, very horrible looking positions, but I just don't see any choice worth the name. Even d6 is something that I should have considered here, maybe. But I mean, in general, if I survive the next 5 moves after, let's say, bishop b2, knight takes, d5 takes, if I don't die immediately, I might have a game. But the feeling is my pieces are so undeveloped that there should be some kind of mate on the king side there, which is regrettable. I can take e5 and that way I win some time. Yeah, maybe this is slightly more sane, because I win some tempi to at least develop some of my stuff. It's still not a good position, obviously, not by any stretch, but maybe, and I should have started with d6 to play bishop f5. Because now bishop h6 probably just gives mate. Yeah, this isn't going well. I mean, I can... Yeah, the moves you want to make here just appear to be completely losing, so... I'm one tempo short of having what would appear to be a semi-playable position, but that's always likely to be the case in positions like this, because... Yeah, but generally just not playing d6 instead of knight c6 was a huge, huge mistake. Maybe I don't have to resign just yet, but... Yeah, bishop f5 g4 was an additional miss. There's really nothing for it anymore. Like, I have to go for this now. Although actually, like, I keep on missing sort of one movers there. I thought I can go g4, knight e5, bishop e2, d3, but there's just bishop d1 in the end, which is completely winning. Also, bishop e4 in the current position, I guess, finishes the game on the spot. Yeah, none of this is particularly attractive. Resigning is not out of the question here. Yeah, knight e4 wins on the spot, g4... No, g4 maybe doesn't win on the spot. h3 is quite good, yeah. And knight e4 obviously is, I guess, the easiest. And there's rook f8 in the end there. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Missing a4 was kind of very, very critical there. Because there was like the entire plan of going queen a5 and then castles was to take on c3, and if the knight gets lost there, it's kind of, it invalidates the whole concept. Knight f6, knight h5, I assume. No? That's somewhat disappointing. h3 is obviously not the main move in this position, but it shouldn't be unplayable. Yeah, and the point I was sort of hoping to make here was I am now not obliged to develop the bishop to e2. I have options of developing it to c4 in some positions, maybe. After c6, though, I think it kind of belongs on e2. I think we may have had this position in the Saudi Arabian World Championship. Yeah, I have a feeling I've seen this position against this opponent, which is kind of bizarre. Well, not that bizarre, but like not obviously very logical that we keep on discussing this specific opening position. I did not play a5 in that game, but I'm kind of wondering why. I guess this is why. And I would like to play knight d4, knight b3 here, but I don't have enough time because I can't cross the d-file. The knight is kind of stuck where it is. Yeah, I can't do that. I was wondering if I can do it in some kind of a tactical manner, but I don't think it works. Yeah, this is less than ideal. Obviously, if I could play knight d2, knight b3, I would be doing very, very well, but quite obviously can't. And now he can go knight b6, and if I take on a5, he has knight c4 there, which is regrettable. Although, I mean, I have some rook d1, bishop d4 setups which I could aim for here. I'm not sure how poorly I'm doing in actual fact. I'm not doing great, but I'm not sure if I'm doing like horribly badly. And by playing rook e1, I'm sort of preparing to take on a5 anyway. Because I obviously don't, after knight c4 the rook will go somewhere, and I want to have the option of taking on e3 with the rook. Taking on e3 with the pawn would leave me with a very, very bad position, but if I have to take on e3 with the rook, I'm probably okay-ish. And this shouldn't, once again, like, objectively speaking, this probably isn't horrible at all for me. But the way the whole match has been going, I kind of mistrust my evaluations. Yeah, once again, you want to be playing knight d4 straight away here, and you cannot because the pawn on d5 is hanging. I have bishop c6, but the pawn will get lost there. So I think I'm supposed to play bishop b3 and prepare knight d4 next move. And, you know, the saving grace for me here is this backward pawn on e7, which prevents him from going, for instance, knight d7, knight c5 right now. Otherwise, like if black could actually get knight d7, knight c5, bishop f6, this kind of a setup, I think I would be in a lot of trouble. But because it's currently somewhat unavailable to him, I might be doing sort of semi-okay. Yeah, this is a sensible restructuring by Magnus, unsurprisingly. And he wants to go knight d7 next move, and then, like, if I go for knight of queen f3 looks logical, but he goes knight d7, and if I play knight c6, he has takes knight e5, which is very strong. So I need to find a way to get my pieces to normal, to good squares. Well, normal squares aren't really going to cut it very much. And he has a lot more strengthening moves here than I do. Like h5 makes perfect sense to me here, for instance, right now. Yeah, I thought that was a good move. Although I have this weird idea, but I don't like. I mean, things aren't likely to go much worse, so let's start trying some things. That's a bit of an improvement, because I was obviously a lot more worried about him taking on d5, but I thought tactics kind of worked out for me there. And now yeah, it's still not that pleasant for me. It's improved slightly because I managed to trade some poor pieces off, but it's still not that great. Where's that knight supposed to be? I think this is a good restructuring, which I should have actually spotted earlier. Knight should be on b4 and the bishop should be on f3. This is how my pieces are supposed to look here. Yeah, I probably should have stopped h4 at some point. That was negligent. But I do have knight c6 as an option, which will require some reaction from him. I thought I had some tactics here, but maybe I don't. Yeah, I was going to play knight g8, but there's bishop b5 in the end. That doesn't work out. Rook a1 probably is just winning now. Yeah, I spotted that a bit too late. Yeah, queen takes c3. Yeah, this is now once again just completely over. Just well, any move, any piece, any square type position. Yep. And I think that probably is it. Yeah, that's 5.5 for Magnus. So the match kind of ended. Let me just it's polite to say GG's to people who play well, and yeah, let's switch to full screen. Apologies to once again, I'm not sure if people actually wanted me to do well, judging from what I've seen in chat, and congratulations to Magnus on a commanding performance. Not really a huge surprise, and happy birthday to Chess24. I tried doing my part, but I was mainly a bystander in this. And it's nice, you know, all kinds of tweets about masterclasses come to mind, but yeah, he played well. I made maybe 5 good moves over the course of those 6 games, so not much of a contest. Well played to Magnus. Once again, the code is on your screen if you want to think about that, and there will be more Chess24 action, not involving slaughter of innocents, in as much as I can be called an innocent, later on, and do enjoy that. Thanks for watching, and I'll go lick my wounds somewhere in the distance. Let me just, now that this is over, I can probably have a look at what's happening in chat. Let's see. Let me just pause the video for a sec. Yeah, let's do some chat interaction now that the match is over. Don't tell Peter Magnus was playing with a touchpad. Not really a shocker. Not really a shocker, and are we done? Can I go? That's not exactly how I feel, Carnicero. It's very annoying to be playing horribly, and it's I don't think very many people enjoy getting beaten up, but he did play a lot better than I played today. So Magnus got off easy, should have forfeited a point or two for language. No, I don't think that's how this works. So yeah, there doesn't seem to be very much in chat worth reacting. People asking me to retire are eventually going to get their wish, but maybe not today. And Peter is so modest he doesn't even read his own chat, says Mr. Dodgy. Well, I was actually trying to try hard today. What happened with Peter? Why didn't Peter do anything? I'm not sure exactly what I was supposed to do there. I was actually trying to do something. Anyway, once again, thanks everyone for watching. GG's to the world champion. And I'll see you all on this website at some point in the future. But for now, bye.